Hi everybody, thanks for watching. My name's Kevin Brown. I'm the principal and owner for Remax Coast here on the Gold Coast. We specialise in residential sales and residential leasing and renting. And I'm along with my business partner, Lisa Brown, who's my wife, and we run the business together. We've got a great sales team of guys and a huge management department, and we're looking to grow as well. But what this is about is not about us. It's about what's happening in the market. These interest rates lately have been nuts. The banks are starting to increase them. I'm sure they're going to be going right up soon. Everyone's panicking. The media's on top of it. And they're saying house prices are going to fall by 40%. I think we all have to take just a little bit of stock in this knowledge and take it with a grain of salt. Like, we have to realise on the Gold Coast here, we're not Sydney and Melbourne. We're not even Brisbane. We've got our own unique real estate economy here and economy in general on the Gold Coast. There's no land left. We're going up, and there's a lot of people moving up here from down south, and they will continue to move up, about 85,000 over the next 3 years. And so that's going to create a lot of pressure on housing, and it's not going to be downwards. It's going to be upwards, or at least levelling out, finding that equilibrium and levelling out for a while there. So interest rates are going to hurt a lot of people, or are they? We're not seeing it in the market at the moment. But I've just had an interview. I caught up with Richard Jeffries from Newbridge Home Loans, and Richard's been a friend of mine for years now. He's looked after a lot of our clients. They've all been extremely happy. Richard is a TSS boy. He's from the Gold Coast, and in case you haven't watched me before, know me before, or know where I'm from, or seen any of these videos, I'm from the Gold Coast in Queensland, sunny Australia. So for everyone overseas, how you going? Nice to see you. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. But this is basically Gold Coast based real estate and what's happening in the market here. So look, I'm caught up with Richard, so let's cross over to him now, and I'll do a quick wrap up of this this interview afterwards when we finish with Richard. So I'll see you on the back end. Cheers. Bye. Hi, I'm here with Richard Jeffrey from Newbridge Home Loans, and we're just going to ask him a few questions about finance, what people are doing now, what the banks are doing, what he thinks the market's doing, what he's seeing in the market. Now, I've known Richard for a number of years now. He's a TSS boy, not like myself. I come from South Australia, from Elizabeth High School. Anyone from South Australia will know what that's like. It's so good they've changed its name to something else now. But Richard's a local from TSS, and he's got a wealth of knowledge and information about finance. He's been doing it for a long time. So Richard, what are you seeing in the marketplace now? What's happening in the finance world?
Well, Kev, obviously we've seen interest rate rises over the last few months. We've seen the Reserve Bank increase interest rates by 1% in August. They did it 0.5% in August. They did 0.5% in July. And what that has meant is not only are repayments going up for people who have home loans, but also for those people who are looking to apply for a home loan, how much you could borrow 3-4 months ago has now come down quite significantly because of those interest rate rises.
Yeah.
What the banks will do is, you might be borrowing money at 3-4%, but they're going to actually work out your affordability based on 3% above that, so more like 6-7% as an affordability rate.
So with that, for someone that could say, because what I'm finding at the moment is a lot of agents, they're going out there, they're still telling their vendors they're going to get like 1.8 million, where really they're 1.5 million for their properties, and they were like 6 months ago as well. They're telling them more. But those 1.5 or 1.8 buyers now, what can they actually afford now? Like, if you could afford 1.8 6 months ago or a year ago, what could you afford now?
Look, for most people, I think in that range, it's probably come down at least 100,000 in how much you can borrow.
Okay. So it's not that much.
It's not that much, and we've got to keep in mind that a lot of people, they'll buy a property for 1.4, but their borrowing power might be a lot higher than that. So for those people, they're largely unaffected. But for those of us who, are quite close to their limit, that's now maybe come down 100,000.
So that would be like your first home buyers that were looking at 600, they're now looking at 500 or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. That's right.
The high ones, it doesn't really matter. And look, that's what I'm finding in the marketplace as well. I'm sort of finding that the market hasn't moved that much. It's just people now, they have to adjust their expectations. If they were pushing to get that extra, now they've got to be a bit more realistic and look for cheaper properties. But the buyers are still out there that can afford those prices. So the market isn't moving down like everyone's saying. It's still out there. It's just there's not as many buyers as what there were like 3 months ago, which I think we all know anyway. So tell me, as far as mortgages go, I've always thought that you could go interest only with an offset account. And that way it keeps your interest rate lower, your payments lower. You can use your offset account to pay your mortgage off rather than get tied into fixed rates. What's your output on that?
Definitely. Offset accounts.
Excuse me.
Offset accounts still really popular with a lot of people, particularly if you do want to get ahead and try and get that home loan down ahead of time, not take the 30 years that the bank set it out for. Interest only is a really interesting one. It's very popular for investment properties. Banks don't love it if it's the house that you're going to be living in.
Yeah, I get that, but can you still get those loans through?
Look, through some banks you can, but it is more difficult. They want to know why are you going interest only on the property that you're going to be living in. For their presumption is that it should be you should be looking to pay the debt down.
Yes.
Which you can still do with an interest-only facility, but it's not built into the actual repayment every month. So they're going to want a really good explanation as to why you want interest only.
So I guess this is the whole reason why I always think you use brokers rather than banks. Because if you go to the Commonwealth Bank, for instance, or NAB or whoever, they're not going to tell you what NAB's doing or Bank of Queensland doing or the Adelaide Bank's doing. They're not going to tell you what their opposition's doing. Whereas a broker like Richard from Newbridge, they can look at the whole spectrum of field and pick what loan is perfect for you and tell you what you can borrow. Would I be right in saying that?
100%. I mean, I really don't have a favourite bank. You know, I know some banks are much better for people who are self-employed, whereas other banks are better for people who are, you know, in a casual job or have just started in a new role. So it's really great like that in Australia, that our banking system, where it's so competitive that some banks have chosen to go after one particular borrower and service them really well, and other banks have chosen another type of borrower.
And I think it's interesting as well. I was in Westpac the other day, and banks are offering like $4,000 for you to refinance now, like cash back, which is crazy. They're trying to retain their money. They're trying to retain their customers and get new customers by offering them this money, but they're still offering the high interest rates. And I was told, and tell me if I'm wrong here, that interest rates are going to go up, but they think, don't fix now because next year they're expecting them to come down a little bit.
Yeah.
Is that right? Where their interest rates for 5 years are like 6.5%, something like that. So if you fix in for 5 years and they drop next year, well, you're biting yourself, you're doing yourself an injustice.
Yeah.
Would that be right?
Definitely. I mean, just last week we actually saw some banks drop their fixed rates, not the variable rates, but Commonwealth Bank, for example, had their 4-year fixed rate above 6%. Yeah. They've recently come out with a special. You can fix for 4 years at 4.99%.
Yeah.
So I think what that's telling us is the banks think that we're getting to the top of the interest rate cycle. We're getting close to the top, not a lot of increases to go. So fixing is definitely a viable option. With regards to the rebates that banks are offering, that's a really good point, because a number of banks are offering up to $4,000, but also there's one major bank at the moment who's offering you 300,000 Qantas frequent flyer points,
it's crazy.
It's a trip to London and back. Some great incentives if you do want to refinance.
So if you're looking to refinance or you're looking for a loan or you want some information, give Richard a call. I'll post his number down below and his details down below. He's a sponsor of our page as well. And any information you need, write it down. We can ask Richard some questions next time we see him. And hey, thanks for talking to us today.
Thanks so much. Enjoyed it. Thank you.
Cheers. Bye for now. And I'll see you soon. Bye. Hi, and there you go. Back again. Here I am. That was Richard Jeffries. As you can see, Richard is a great guy. He's very approachable. If you need anything to do with finance, I would recommend you give him a call straight away. You can just Google him. I'll post his details below. So look, and also if you're thinking of selling at the moment and you don't know what the market's doing and you're worried about what everyone's saying, give us a call. Let us know. We'll come and see you. We'll show you what the market's doing. We'll show you some facts and some figures on what's happening with auctions. That's where you get a great range of the clearance rate, is where you get a good range of where the market is actually at. What those clearance rates are doing. But look, we can show you how the properties are selling in your area, and so you can judge on whether it's a good time for you to sell or not, or just feel out the market. But look, my name's Kevin Brown. Please like and subscribe below if you like this. I'll be having interviews with a lot more people later on. But look, until next time, see you later. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye for now. See ya.